So here's the question, does size really matter? In this case, yes. As a matter of fact, it does. I'm going to give you 4 reasons where size really does matter if you're going to be successful in private practice. And let's have some fun with this, right? Number 1, your bank account. It does matter. Don't take advice from your mom, your dad, your grandparents, or your friend or your neighbor if they've never been in business before, if they've never run a physical therapy clinic before, because this is a very unique business. Do not do this on your money. I get a lot of owners that come to me and say, hey, I've got a big bank account. Good, keep it. I want you to build this business on other people's money. The reality is, you could open up a PT private practice of, 18 to 24 or 12 to 2,400 square feet is usually where I like to consider the sweet spot on $35,000 to $150,000. You can acquire practices today with somebody retiring in your area for, I don't know, $150,000 to $400,000. But at least you have a caseload, patients, staff, everything's in place, right? My point is this. It's really important that you don't run your business financially like you run your personal household. That is the biggest mistake I see young entrepreneurs make. They think because they've accumulated some money, inherited money, been gifted money, their friends gave them money, their family gave them money. I'm like, all of that makes me shudder. I don't want you to be beholden to somebody who you have a personal connection with. This is not good. A little help flow is fine, but footing the bill for you is not okay, in my opinion, my world. I mean, you can decide, but it matters, right? You can get money, SBA loans. I have, a PNC banker that specifically funds small $0 to $5 million size healthcare entrepreneurs. Very successful with that. Do not use, in my opinion, your own personal funds as much as you can, or your families or your friends. It matters, right? So the bank account does matter. I want you to have enough money to fund yourself for 3 to 6 months should you make nothing in the first 3 to 6 months, and have a $50,000 line of credit backing it up. That's a revolving line of credit. So number 1, that's what I usually coach my startup owners. And look, it's not much more than the cost of a Tesla. So we're not talking a whole lot of money here. Number 2, does size matter in terms of branding and marketing? Yes, absolutely. You want to be everywhere. You want people to see you everywhere. If they just keep seeing your name, when they learn about you, they're like, oh, I saw them on this billboard, or I saw an article in the Daily Caller, or I saw it in my, a lot of people don't even think about this, but go to those neighborhoods, those tracts that have like hundreds of homes, and they usually have a newsletter that goes out to all the residents. Get an ad and an article in the newsletter of how you can help them achieve optimum health, or tell them about your aftercare program, or tell them about your story about why you became a physical therapist entrepreneur and opened your own clinic because you didn't like what you saw in the community. And people will identify with that. They're like, yeah, I see that too. So be personable and be educational at the same time. Always being helpful. Don't ask for them to come see you. Don't try to sell anybody. My business flourishes and prospers because I don't try to sell anybody anything. I just try to educate them and share with them how I can exchange an abundance on their behalf. When you're a patient care advocate and you're advocating on the behalf of your patients, they'll tell everybody. That's what's worked for us. I'm sure it's going to work for you. Does size really matter in terms of the size of your clinic? Yes. Let me tell you a quick little story. If you walk down a street and you're leaving Home Depot and you're on your way to your car and you walk by a strip center and it's a nice little 1,500 square foot, space there, and you see a PT, he's all by himself, there's one patient, a couple, tables, maybe a bike and some TheraBands and some weights along the side, but nothing really, maybe just a desk with a phone and a laptop on it, and you come in, you jingle the bell when you walk in, and the therapist greets you, and you quickly realize it's a one-man show, and he's like, yeah, I'm bootstrapping it, I pay as I go, I'm doing what I can do, and you're like, okay, sounds good, I'll give you a call, maybe I'll become a patient, and you walk out that door, and lo and behold, you walk another 50 feet, and you walk by another clinic. You didn't even know it was there, and your shoulder's been bothering you. You're like, my gosh, 2 PT clinics just on the same sidewalk. And you look in, they got all this kinds of equipment, rack and stuff, and new technology, and they've got a nice, virtual front desk, or a front desk that's welcoming with chairs and seats, and there's a tech, doing things, and the therapist is doing things, and you come in and you're like, yeah, I just opened up, and I have all this stuff, and I've been a manual therapist my whole career, and I outsource all my services so that I can just focus on patient care here, but I have a whole team backing me. Oh my goodness. They're going to be like, this is wonderful. This is exactly where I want to be. This is super duper important that you give the image or the perception of You're bigger than now. You're bigger than the moment, right? Look, that person who's trying to make money to buy their next piece of equipment, they're going to be small for a long time because they're in their own way. That person who borrowed $150,000 and decked it out, I've got this thing with PT United called PT in a Box, Startup Kit, PT in a Box. It's awesome. It's phenomenal. I can give you this whole flyer and it shows you how you can get discounted prices with white glove service on getting all the state-of-the-art equipment you need for your clinic all in one swoop. So saves you time, saves you money. It's who you know, right? It's like who you know. Like I know the banker with the best rates. I know the provider who can source your clinic. I've got relationships with a lot of great EMR companies who will source you as well. So it's what you don't know that you're usually afraid of. But this whole theme, this whole YouTube video is about, is bigger better? Yes, it's definitely better in this instance. It's definitely better in this case. When I was talking to you about you want your branding and marketing to be everywhere and people to see you, let me tell you another real life story. Well, the other one was a made-up story. This one's a real-life story. My marketing coordinator, when I had my clinics one day, came to me and said, hey, I found out this company's called Idle Times, and they rent billboard space, so to speak, on the back of the bathroom stall doors or in the bathroom door itself, above the mirrors and within these bathrooms and all the local restaurants, right? I'm like, what? Wait, I want to be advertising above a urinal? I mean, is that what I really want to be doing? He's like, it's a QR code. It's a message and they relate to it, and we treat the whole family, and and I'm like, what, really? He's like, look, Brian, it's 18 locations. It's going to cost us about, what was it, like $350 a month to be in 18 locations. And he's like, let me remind you, you're not my public. And I had to reflect back on that, being, yeah, I'm the PT owner. It's like, I got to think like, who's my public, right? Mom, dad, teenagers, grandparents, And I'm like, all right, family's my public. You're right. He's like, give me a shot. Let me run it 90 days, a 90-day pilot. Let's see how it goes. I'm like, all right. I'm like, this is going to tank. I don't know. I'm going to lose $350 times 3. So month 1 came by, a couple patients came in. I was like, okay, Brian knows best, right? Month 2 comes by. I see him walking down to the meeting. We're having our marketing meeting. He's walking with this piece of paper and he's like swishing it like this. And he's like making this funny face. And I'm like, oh boy, here it goes. And he walks in, he goes, guess what, Brian? You're definitely not my public. 16 evals off of Idle Times. I was like, what? $350 expenditure. I got 16 evals in that month off of Idle Times. I'm like, how many restaurants do they have? He's like, 36. I said, I want to be in all of them. For the next 3 years, we were in so many restaurants that whenever they had open slots, they didn't even charge us. They just put us in there. And I would always routinely get double-digit evals just from that promo. And it was because I was on the radio, I was on billboards, I was in articles, I was writing blogs, I was advertising in the football magazine for the local high school. That's bigger is better. And it doesn't have to be more expensive. Google Ads can do it for you these days, stuff like that. So I wanted to give you that real life example because it really panned out for me. So think about your communities. Second, being solo practitioner, like I told you about, walking down the sidewalk and seeing that small little clinic, as opposed to communicating to your public that you're backed by, like that's what we do, right? We provide the credentialing and the verification, authorization, and billing. And when you got your phones answered all the time, nothing's going unanswered, you don't have to return calls, we're picking up the phones, we're scheduling your evals. It just gives the appearance of like, boy, this guy's in with tech. This guy or this gal, she knows what she's doing. She brought in the resources she needs so she could focus on the patient care and advance the outcomes of my care, because they're not running around like that other guy. He'd have to run from the front to the back and grab the phone and return calls and verify his own insurance and send out his own claims. I'm like, oh my God, who wants to do that? Do not do that. That's admin clerical. You didn't even go to school for that. Just pay for what you need. Like literally there's little monthly minimums that you pay until your percent kicks in when your volume grows. When you find a partner who's big and has experience and successful actions, bigger is better. They bring that experience, they bring that knowledge. They make you have the appearance of being bigger and better, more seasoned, more experienced than you ever could imagine you would be 2 years out of school, 3 years out of school, 5 years out of school. Be that entrepreneur, but more importantly, be a successful decision maker. That's my message for you. I think bigger is better on all of these fronts. I don't know about everything, but it definitely will serve you well in business. Go with the people who have the experience, who know how to bring in the big volume, the big look, the big attention, because that's what's going to make you successful. And keep your bandwidth free so that you could be doing what you're most skilled at. being the best clinician you can be and attracting other good clinicians to your practice. As always, thank you so much for watching my YouTube video. Click like and subscribe just so I can help more people. It's not about me, it's about you. It really helps us with the algorithm. And if you really want to see more educational kind of pieces, check out our podcast where I really try to break out things where I can teach personal growth ideas and tips for professional success. I'm here for you, and I hope you wake up each and every day expecting to do well.